Why did we close a section of the 405 freeway this weekend? We're not just connecting a system of carpool lanes. It's all part of our plan to give Angelenos the 21st century transportation system they deserve. This section of the freeway, this HOV lane, will connect a grid of HOV lanes from Orange County all the way through the San Fernando Valley. It'll save us about a minute per mile, and it will complete the HOV lanes that we have in the region. With the work that we're doing on the 10 and the 110 to make hot lanes, accelerating and doubling the size of our rail system, all of this is connected to a much bigger plan. In November of 2008, we passed Measure R. Measure R was a half-penny sales tax that will double the size of the rail system, make $40 billion of investments over a 30-year period of time in our public transportation system, our highways, our bridges, our roads, signal synchronization, and a panoply of things to really address congestion and gridlock in our county. We need to connect people to jobs when we create infrastructure. We came up with an idea that would leverage our money, accelerate our projects. We called it the 30-10 plan because this is a 30-year funding plan that we want to compress into a 10-year period of time. We've now taken it national. We're calling it America Fast Forward. We have, as you know, a bipartisan financing plan that can create nearly 1 million jobs. It can put people to work today by allowing local governments to creatively leverage local dollars for roads and rail.
We're not asking for a handout. All we're asking for is an advance to help us front load money to put more people to work today.
And we've already had a down payment on that effort, a $546 million loan from the federal government for the Crenshaw line, and now an announcement that we're a finalist for a $600 million loan for the subway.
The mayor has done an amazing job of getting bipartisan leadership. We have over 113 Democratic and Republican mayors from across the country that have signed a letter of support for America Fast Forward. Senator Boxer has got a section in her new transportation bill named America Fast Forward, which is huge. And Congressman Mica on the Republican side and the House chairman has been very responsive to some of the elements of America Fast Forward, both labor and business and the environmental community. Pretty unique coalition.
We need to say now is the time to put millions of people back to work by making long overdue investments in our future infrastructure needs. We need to pick up the shovels and pick up the pace. We need to tell Congress to press the button on America Fast Forward.
Senator Boxer's Environment Public Works Committee is having a hearing next Thursday. The mayor's going back to testify, as he has several times in the past, to emphasize the importance of enacting infrastructure reform, a transportation bill now, to put people to work now in this country.
I've said I'll fly to Washington day and night, around the clock, whenever I have to, when you look at what's at the end of the rainbow. We want to get the money we need to put people back to work, to double the size of our rail system, to address the congestion and gridlock in the city of Los Angeles.
G'day, Troy McCubbin from North Hollywood. You're watching LA City View, Channel 35, our city, our channel.
Education is the civil rights issue of our time. Poor and minority, primarily African American and Latino kids, are underrepresented in our high school graduating classes, underrepresented in our universities, overrepresented in our prisons, overrepresented in the workforce that's unemployed.
The mayor, in taking office, decided to devote himself to an effort to turn around our lowest performing schools. It started out as a network of 10 of the lowest performing schools. It's now expanded to a network of 22, focused in a few communities, including Watts and Boyle Heights.
We're in this work to improve the lives of all kids. We launched the partnership because we wanted to both improve our schools and make sure that those students get a real quality education and really have a chance at being successful in life, while also driving large-scale policy, programmatic changes, kind of the key changes that can help the larger school district impact the 700,000 students that it currently serves. When we started working at the elementary schools, we just saw that we had very, very low number of students that were identified as gifted. We knew the state average was 11% for gifted and talented, but we had some schools at 1%, 0.5%.
The way kids were identified for gifted and talented programs is if their parents asked that they be tested, or if a teacher recommended they be tested.
I never even knew about that test.
It never dawned on me that that was a test that could be taken.
The majority of our kids would never have been tested had the partnership not come in, because what they did was they really came in and they set the tone for assessing all of our second graders, and they did it for 2 years, and then they saw the results.
13% of our students above the state average were identified as gifted and talented.
It was easy.
The superintendent of LAUSD saw the results, and then he rolled it out to the entire school district. So now all of LAUSD is benefiting from this innovation because it opens up such a host of possibilities.
It kind of made me feel like, whoa, well, I'm special, you know, in a different way, and it's a good way. Like, now it's good, it's cool to be smart.
The next step would be to better align our professional development offerings to our teachers across our networks.
The more gifted kids, the more gifted training, you're going to train them, where you're going to have your basic kids getting exposed to that kind of thinking. You're going to have a lot of those kids running with it.
If a system's going to change, like the district, parents are going to need to hold it accountable and also partner with it to make it better.
You want parents actively involved in their child's education and at the school site.
We have a parent center in each one of our schools. Parents work in there to help teachers with projects.
We want to create the environment where the parents are also educated too. They're learners as well.
We have a lot of parents who didn't go to middle school or high school in America, if at all.
But many of them are interested in coming in and learning about what to do and how to work with their child at home.
New ideas to teaching your kids and being a motivator with your teachers.
We started the Parent College this past year. It's about 3 hours each month.
First of all, Ryan would be like very excited. It motivates us to be more excited as well.
The premise is that we want parents to understand their rights, roles, and responsibilities.
Really teaching the parents on what they should be looking for and expecting at their child's school site.
Like back to school night or conference with the teachers, like what questions to ask. What are the scores that you need, the credits when you graduate from high school, so that you could go into the college that you want to go into.
And it's not just the mothers. You see the fathers.
They welcome the entire community, all the parents, with open arms, and that gives everyone a sense of belonging.
If parents can see themselves graduating from this program, they can see their children graduating from high school, or they can see their children graduating from college. It inspires the kids.
What university, which one you say you're going to? Harvard or Yale? You say he's going to Harvard or Yale.
Being a part of this has gave my son, you know, a great sense of what a community could do.
One of the reasons actually I was attracted to coming to a partnership school was that I heard that they were very innovative in the way they were professionally developing their instructional leaders.
We're beginning a pilot program to evaluate teacher effectiveness with what they call multiple measures of evaluation, which include student growth over time, in-class observation, student input.
They tell us what's working, what isn't, but it's not a program where so many people think it's a gotcha. It's more of a program of how can I make you better.
Thinking about using a common framework, a language to talk about teaching and learning. Thinking differently about how do we plan lessons, how do we plan units, and being able to share that in like groups of grade levels and content area teams, but across all of our schools.
I would free them up to go visit another teacher within the school that was successful with Cornell Notes or with the GLAD strategy so they can observe.
Fundamentally change the way I work with groups and with students in general, and I think it makes it a lot easier to be successful in the classroom.
I feel I am respected, I am empowered, and I have the creative and professional ability to plan lessons that are great for my kids.
If it's important to grade a student, we ought to be able to grade our schools. And we have a school report card that we started in our partnership schools that are taken across the school district.
How kids are performing on tests, graduation rates, survey data from students and parents and teachers.
It allows you to be happy if they're doing well, and if they're not doing well, it allows you to demand change.
We didn't have to make major changes, but it was the little things, making sure in the children's bathrooms that the ceilings weren't covered with toilet paper wads, which is, a very popular form of recreation for elementary students.
Principals are going to be attentive to the data that the district prioritizes by putting in that report card.
It definitely does add an extra layer of anxiety because you know that report card is coming out and you're just like, It sets a certain standard for administrators.
And the student report card now goes out to every single parent in all of LA Unified in numerous languages, available in the mail, available online.
My data, I would call it a collaborative innovation of the district and the partnership, where we brought the idea to the table and then co-created it.
It's a web-based student information system that gives teachers access in real time to student data.
So you can see everything from their math scores, their reading scores, to how many times they've been sent to the office this year, to how many tardies they have.
So it gives me my scores, and then it gives me the state scores, and it allows me to compare and contrast.
Teachers can log in from home or in their classroom, or a principal can log in to say, let me look at my classroom, or let me look at my department, or let me look at my school and how it's performing.
I actually show this to the students at the beginning of the year. Hey, look at where we're at right here. This is where we're at. This is going to be our goal.
When you create a piece of software, you don't need to just use it for the partnership schools. We also let you use it for all of LA Unified. And now this is a very robust information system that teachers throughout this entire city are using.
I like my data. It made my job easier.
The online credit recovery system is a way of giving kids an opportunity to make up credits that they've missed online.
Oh, my friend, he had dropped out of school for I think a month, 2 months. He had to make up some credits. His counselor gave him the Apex class. And he took it, the fastest classes, and he got his diploma and graduated.
They can do the work at home. Or we have kids who were homeless, and they would go to the library and do 6 hours of homework online, and it was a Saturday.
At one school, Santee High School, we had 150 kids that graduated that wouldn't have other without the program. Since we're working with the district, they get excited about these practices, and they roll out credit recovery across a large number of their high schools.
High school is great, but it's also super great when you finish.
While walking to school from the bus stop, an officer pulled us over and told us to sit down on the curb and asked us why we were late. Before we were able to explain, we were handcuffed and searched.
Students are given a ticket for arriving late to school. They must pay $250, which not only contributes to the financial burden of their family, but makes the students lose class time. Students reported that they would rather stay at home than risk going to school and being ticketed.
It was an issue that had been in the community for many years.
We followed with the mayor's office, get connected to LAPD, said let's not just change our policy around Roosevelt High School, let's change our policy throughout the entire city of Los Angeles.
We started taking care of tardies within our own school. In this last year, when the directive got implemented and the ticketing stopped, we saw an increase of attendance from 91.4% to 94.5%. We want students to come to school environments that are caring and nurturing.
And so in whatever mechanism we can, whether it is breaking large schools such as a Roosevelt High School into 7 small schools, starting a new school such as the Mendez Learning Center as 2 small schools, the goal is that teachers can monitor student learning more appropriately and relationships can be formed that actually enhance the learning process.
Students have the ability to be seen and to be heard. They don't just become a face in the crowd.
They have inspired in many ways students to come to class, just to come to school and actually do what school is for, study.
In the 2008-9 school year, which was the partnership's first year, the district had the first round of layoffs.
We got notices that because of the budget crisis, because they were younger teachers and did not have seniority, at some of our schools, half of the teachers received pink slips.
And so we would have all these long-term substitutes.
Substitute don't know your name, don't know where you sit, don't know anything about you, so all hell breaks loose.
I'm a math department chair, and just trying to build a group and going in the same direction is hard when someone leaves and someone new comes in.
You can't decimate the school teaching staff that way. That's not fair to kids.
So we picked up the phone, we called the ACLU and said, let's sue.
We essentially argued, and the judge agreed, that an additional round of layoffs would lead to such a disparity in educational opportunity and lack of meaningful instruction to students that it would be a denial of their fundamental right to equal educational opportunity under the California Constitution.
And the end result was a settlement, the first time in this state, whereby the lowest performing schools, the most impacted kids, are protected from seniority-based layoffs.
District-wide, there have been 45 schools protected.
The way the math works out, and I've sat down and crunched the numbers, there's no way that any school in the LAUSD will experience more than 1 or 2 additional layoffs as a result of protecting these 45 schools.
We've really seen a big improvement just, with consistent teachers. Our test scores went up last year. Students are more engaged. Our attendance is up.
Other superintendents are using that lawsuit and that settlement to protect their toughest need schools in other districts as well.
I think the partnership has let these kids know that they're just as smart and just as deserving, and that they deserve an equitable education just like every other child in the United States of America.
What we're doing here is authentic change. And we're able to do that, I think, because we have the support of the partnership.
They keep the community, the mayor, and all the teachers involved in a great solution for our kids.
They bring us laptops for us to do research, and they grant us many great field trips.
My classes are they're really fun to be in. I rarely miss any classes. Well, after graduation, I will be attending UC Santa Barbara. And I'm really proud of that because I'll be the first person in my family to go to college.
These kids can learn, and they can succeed, and they can reach for the stars, and they can follow their dreams if we invest in them. We don't give up on them, and if we set the highest standards, the highest expectations for them.
Graffiti removal? Call 311, the toll-free number for non-emergency services. 311, your one call to City Hall.
In the city of Los Angeles, when duty calls, the LAPD responds.
Hey, John, lower the gun, buddy. John, leave the gun.
Working as a team.
Go ahead and put the gun down. John, nobody's going to come at you, all right? But I'd feel a whole lot better if you were to lower that gun.
To protect and to serve.
Why don't you come back here to me, all right? All right, that's good. Walk toward me with your hands up, John. Put your hands up.
All units code 466.
Thanks for working with me.
291, show me code 6 and the auto search for the Amber Alert.
To fight crime and to keep our streets safe.
Another positive hit on this bag. We believe at this time that the vehicle is in our custody.
Any available unit to respond to the northeast corner, 7th and Broad for the Amber Alert.
6K 253 right.
14X11, show us responding.
Cycle 2, we're en route.
This is it.
Let's go.
For the officers of the LAPD, it's all in a day's work. Protecting our families.
Look at your daddy.
They take pride in what they do.
Code from the Amber Alert. Missing child found and returned to parent. Suspect in custody.
LAPD is hiring. Become a part of the team. Visit us at joinlapd.com.
LA City View Channel 35. Your city, your channel.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Herb Wesson. I'm the president of the Los Angeles City Council. I want to welcome you to our council chambers. Our council meets on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 10 a.m. Even though we do not have a quorum as of yet, we can proceed with the presentation portion of our program or our agenda today. We will start off with Mr. Eric Garcetti.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. And Tom LaBonge is going to join me, and we are substituting for our good friend and Councilwoman Jan Perry, who is at the AQMD meeting, which she serves on the board of. So this is a presentation for Council District 9, and Ms. Perry is certainly included today. As we welcome an incredibly distinguished group of women who are here today, I'm joined this morning by Barbara Wright, Junior League of America president. Sorry, of Los Angeles. I just promoted you, but hey, soon enough it'll be America. Exactly. You only have the rest of the United States too. And members of the Junior League to share the joy of reading with young people across our city and our state. We all have amazing memories. For me, it's a Sherman Oaks Library. I used to run there almost every day after school, in elementary school, and I'd go with my mother and we would go and read in the library. We can think about librarians and books that have influenced our lives. But this morning, the Junior League of Los Angeles partnered with the young people of Joy Picus Child Care Center, which is just down the block here, to announce that the City of Los Angeles has declared March Read Across California Month in our city. So today was a particularly significant day for this announcement, as it coincides with the late Dr. Seuss's birthday and the release of his children's classic, The Lorax in theaters, starting tonight. To help commemorate Dr. Seuss's birthday, members of the Junior League read excerpts from The Lorax to the children visiting council chambers from the Joy Picus Daycare Center. It was a fitting way to kick off what's going to be a fabulous month here, celebrating and promoting reading citywide. Unfortunately, the City of Los Angeles ranks 61st in a ranking of the 75 biggest cities in the nation from most literate to least, based on 2001 research. So we have a lot of work cut out for us to make sure that we become a more literate city. We know that learning to read and understanding the English language is the pathway to success. And in this city, reading often takes forms in multiple languages as well, which are other pathways to success here in Los Angeles. In fact, we have probably more languages spoken here than in any city in the history of human civilization. But reading is a fundamental skill. It's the cornerstone of a life of academic success as well as a fulfilling life. Literacy is the source of inspiration, imagination, and personal fulfillment. It's also the foundation of an educated society and workforce. Additionally, when we've looked at the frequency and regularity of reading independently, we've seen a direct correlation here to the level of reading skills. The more a person reads, the better they become at reading. So reading out loud to children increases their interest in mastering reading and exposes children to proper vocabulary and grammar, as I say bad grammar, and phrasing, and enhances the development of their own reading skills. In fact, the United States Department of Education found that children who were read to at least 3 times a week by a family member were almost twice as likely to score in the top 25% reading, in contrast to children who were read to less than 3 times a week. Read Across California Month, in conjunction with Read Across America, is an opportunity for all of us here. Whether it is your own child, whether it's a nephew or a niece, whether it's a grandchild, we can raise awareness and make a difference. During the month of March, we are challenging every Angelino, every single one of you, to read for at least 30 minutes for the next 30 days. Now, maybe council reports count, but we would prefer that you find nice literature, great nonfiction works, something different from what you do every single day to expand your mind and to help build up that literacy in our town. We can lead by example and get our young people to put away their video games, turn off the TV, and delve into the amazing world of books and imagination. In fact, in Ms. Perry's district, there is a bookstore called The Last Bookstore. Let's hope that is done with a sense of irony, that it is not like our newspapers as we see with bookstores, that increasingly, as people move towards other media, we forget that the most fundamental medium of all is the printed and written word. Through the Read Across California initiative, we can foster a love of reading, encourage the people of Los Angeles to explore the many exciting wonders of the world through books, and I want to thank the Junior League, which year after year makes an incredible difference in the city and in this world with the way that they give of themselves. They are the most powerful group of volunteers that we have in this city. It is our secret army, but we love daylighting you once a year here, and we are so excited about your continued contributions to the city. Before we hear from Barbara Wright, I want to ask Mr. LaBonge if he'd like to say a couple words, and then I'm going to ask Barbara Wright to say a few words as well.
Thank you, Mr. Garcetti. I appreciate the fact that you did have trouble with grammar because you just want to show everybody you're not perfect.
I can overcome it.
You can overcome it is right.
I just need you to read to me.
And we want to thank, I want to thank Ms. Perry, and Ms. Perry has one of the greatest resources in our city, our Central Library, renamed after our great mayor, Richard Riordan, who was really a big pusher for reading, which is so important. And I reminisced of my first read, which was, and it's still my second, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth, and seventh, eighth, and ninth, Betsy. It is Mike Mulligan and his Steam Shovel, which is a great classic book that brings joy into the town of Popperville because he had a steam shovel named Mary Ann and it didn't give up. Well, the Junior League's never given up, and the Junior League's been part about our history in so many ways. And I like how you said daylighting them, because you're behind the scenes making it happen. And the history and heritage of the Junior League, I wish I could have done more for you, but you do it all. And working with the Assistance League and others to do good things for our city. So this is so special that we honor them today, Mr. Garcetti, and I just want to thank being part of it. There's many great things about the city, but one is very special on Larchmont Boulevard, which is the Junior League of Southern California. Thank you.
So, ladies and gentlemen, Barbara Wright.
So, as president of the Junior League of Los Angeles, I'm very proud and honored to accept this today. We're very proud that we're well-trained volunteers, women building better communities, and literacy is very close to our hearts. Personally, one of my favorite times of day was the evening. My parents had 5 kids, stay-at-home mom, and either a brother, a sister, a grandparent, or one of the parents in the home. Each of us 5 kids would get to pick a story to be read to us at night. So very, very important to me. Also, personally, I adopted a foster child, and it was very important to me to read to her. And literacy is just very, very close to us. I'd like to introduce Ann Clark, our public policy director, who really helped for the Junior League of Los Angeles to support this initiative, just to say a few words. Thank you so much.
On behalf of the Junior League of Los Angeles, I would like to thank Councilwoman Perry, Councilman LaBonge, Councilman Garcetti, and of course all the electeds that have helped us raise awareness and support this initiative Read Across California. Thank you very much.
So now officially we would like to present this resolution for Jan Perry and the entire City Council and the Mayor and the City Controller and City Attorney, who have all signed this as we declare Read Across California Month here in the City of Los Angeles. 30 minutes for 30 days. Can we do it?
Yes.
All right. Yes, we can. Here we go. Congratulations.
Mr. Garcetti, Mr. Buscaino would like to say a few words.
Thank you. I'd like to thank Ms. Perry for bringing the Junior League to the great city of Los Angeles. I had an opportunity earlier this morning to visit the boys and girls in the media room behind us here and sing happy birthday to Dr. Seuss. And coming from a family of educators, my wife's a teacher at the Great White Point Elementary School. My sister Michelle teaches at Dana Middle School. My younger sister Sabrina is at the Holy Trinity School as well. The importance of literacy in our city, in America, is so important. And I want to stand and recognize each and every one of you for being here, your dedication to our youth in this great city. I want to thank you. Just last night, my son said, "Dad, we need to pick a couple books out for tomorrow." And today, this morning at South Shores Elementary School, at the Forum, every child, every student brought with them a book to celebrate the birthday of Dr. Seuss. And it was just great to see that the schools are promoting literacy. They're promoting the importance of reading in schools and even at home. So I want to thank you on behalf of my constituents in the Great 15th for your continued support for our young people. Thank you very much.
Mr. Zine.
For your son.
It was Dr. Seuss, Oh, the Places You Will Go, which is one of our favorites in the Buscaino family. So thank you.
Mr. Zine.
Thank you, Mr. President. This morning, former controller, former Councilman Laura Chick, who was at Lawrence Street School, where I attended, students there in pajamas and we've got some great pictures of us with the Dr. Seuss hats, and Cat in the Hat showed up. Hal Eisner, a reporter from Channel 1113, was there, and we had a full assembly out in the yard, and it was all about reading, all about Dr. Seuss. And I think this is a program that's gone citywide, but it was so interesting to see the students and to see the excitement. They had LAPD there, they had the port police, they had the school police, the fire department. They pulled all the strings out for this one, and the former councilman, former controller, Laura Chick, was there celebrating her daughter's a teacher at Lawrence Street. So it was quite a morning, at 8 o'clock in the morning when we kicked that off. But congratulations to you, and we talked about all the different occupations and professions and activities, and the one thing you have to have is that education and that reading ability to take those tests so you can be a firefighter or be a police officer or any type of profession. So congratulations to you. It's a great program. The excitement of the kids was just fantastic, but to see them all in their pajamas, I don't know how the pajamas work into it, but they're all in their pajamas today. So anyway, that was at Lawrence Street School, so it was a shout out to former council member and controller Laura Chick, who was strongly behind this program, and thank you for bringing it forward.
So, Mr. Zine, are you suggesting that if Mr. Labange read more books as a child, he would have passed the firefighter exam?
I did not want to get that area, but I don't want to pick on Tom Labange today. I already picked on him yesterday.
I love Tom Labange. Anyway, congratulations, Junior League. Let's give them a round of applause for all that they do.
Thank you very much, Mr. President, and thank you so much to the Junior League as well. Really
thank you. So, Mr. Garcetti, I'm gonna ask that you stay there, and we're gonna run through the agenda.
There in just a second. Okay.
We're gonna quickly run through the agenda. At this time, Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Alarcon, Vizcaíno, Cardenas, Englander, Garcetti, Huizar, Koretz, Krikorian, Labange, Parks, Perry, Reyes, Rosendahl, Zine, Wesson. 12 members present and a quorum, Mr. President.
First order of business.
Approval of the minutes.
Huizar moves, Koretz seconds. Next.
Commendatory resolutions for approval.
Rosendahl moves, Parks seconds. What is next?
Mr. President, items 1 through 10 are items for which public hearings have not been held. 10 votes are required for consideration, and for the record, item 10 is a Zine Englander resolution, not a Krikorian Alarcon resolution as inadvertently reflected on today's agenda.
Okay, members, I'd like to direct your attention to the agenda. We're going to go through the agenda. So, Mr. Clerk, why don't we go through the first 10 items on the agenda?
Very good, sir. As of yet, we have no cards on any of the items.
Specials members? Specials members? Seeing and hearing none on those.
Mr. President, pardon me. I do believe that there is an amendment coming forward on item number 10, if you'd like to set that aside.
Okay, let's set item number 10 aside. On the other items, let us prepare to vote. So let us open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
12 ayes.
Mr. Parks.
We get item 2 forthwith for Ms. Perry.
Okay, item 2 forthwith. Mr. Clerk, Mr. City Attorney, do we have any cards on general public comment?
No, sir, we do not.
Mr. City Attorney, since we do not have any cards, would it be appropriate to close that portion of our program since no one has signed up to speak?
Yes, the council has given an opportunity for members of the public to speak in general public comment, and since there's no members of the public here, then it could be closed.
Well, with that said, the general public comment period is hereby closed. That takes us back to Mr. Garcetti for another presentation.
Thank you, Mr. President. It is a great joy to be up here again. It's a day of fabulous women in the city of Los Angeles, and we are so excited to be able to present today a very important day, myself and Mr. Reyes, here in the city of Los Angeles to declare Latina History Day, March 2nd, 2012. And I'm joined here by Hope. both metaphorically and literally. A group of women known as Hispanas Organized for Political Equality that are the most dynamic, incredible group of women in this city who have focused this city on voices and on stories that too often are forgotten. I can think of for myself on a day like this what it was like for my grandmother, Juanita, who was one of 19 children born to the same mother and father, and her mother was done at 37, so you do the math. The largest family in Arizona, immigrants from Guaymas, Sonora, and she came out here as a teenager, actually after a lot of the last weekend we were talking about the illegal deportations that happened in the 30s, and a lot of people fled Arizona. We had Congressman Esteban Torres here talking about what it was like as a 5-year-old when his father was a legal American citizen deported to Mexico who we never saw again. So my grandmother came out here and graduated from high school and became a meat packer. She was a hard-working woman. She was somebody who raised her family. My grandfather, whose own mother, Guadalupe, was a housekeeper here in Los Angeles who provided for her son to be able to give him an opportunity. We stand here on the shoulders of so many Hispanas, so many Latinas who have been a part of this city's firmament from the beginning, since the pobladores settled here in 1781. And we announce Latina History Day and recognize the important work that HOPE does to improve the educational, political, and economic status of Latinas in Los Angeles and throughout the country. Latina History Day memorializes the important role that Latinas play in American society. Today we see Latinas serving at the highest levels of government, from Supreme Court Justice Sonia Sotomayor, after whom we have a school named here, a series of schools, to Labor Secretary Hilda Solis, right here in Los Angeles. These and so many other outstanding women have built upon the foundation laid for them by the generations who came before them. Latinas from all sectors, private, nonprofit, government, political, have made and will continue to make tremendous contributions to our communities. But HOPE's vision of being able to bring up new Latina leaders, it's time for some Latinas around this horseshoe again. It is time for Latinas around our boardrooms and in our community organizations. We know the work that Latinas do throughout, but HOPE focuses on a pathway to success and to real outcomes. And HOPE's annual Latina History Day conference brings together hundreds of these women leaders and future women leaders to celebrate their achievements, as well as how to strategize about how to continue this legacy of accomplishment. The conference will be held here, and everybody's invited, from March 8th to the 10th. And then on April 28th, we will co-host with HOPE a workshop to help women prepare to run for or to be appointed to public office. We want to make sure that women have the resources and the opportunities to lead, and we know that each one of us, somebody whispered in our ear, everybody around this horseshoe, hey, you should run. Well, we want to make sure that there are a lot of Latinas in the city who hear that message, hey, you should run. And by the way, here's how you can do it. So today, we declare March 2nd, 2010 as Latina History Day and congratulate HOPE for its service to all residents of this great city. Ni un paso más atrás. And with that, I'd like to give the microphone to my great friend and a big supporter of Latinas, Ed Reyes.
Thank you, Eric, and thank you for making sure we have this moment to recognize Latina History Day. To be brutally honest, when I have my community meetings in Pico Union and Lincoln Heights and Westlake, the people you see there are the women. It's usually the men out in the car having a cigarette or joshing with the compadres, but it's the moms, the abuelitas, the tias that are in there putting us to task of what's happening in the neighborhood, how to create safer passages. So those are the elements that sustain our society through a strong family network, and begins with the sacrifices made by our Latinas. The way they are able to demonstrate strength in multitasking, in being able to address all these issues, and each and every one of the persons around me, they have a tremendous role in our community, if not in the city, in county, in the state, and the different sectors of our government and private sector. So to have them here, to have them as role models, truly means a lot. I look personally at my sister, Irma Reyes. She's been a child care provider for 30 years. The Unsung Heroes goes out and works with the kids who are being abandoned or abused in their families. My other sister, Leticia, is an interpreter for Cal OSHA. She goes into the factories and companies and interprets for workers that are being abused and are living through intolerable conditions in the workplace. But you don't hear of them. You don't hear of these sacrifices that these ladies are making for our families. So for the sake of the future of our communities, our city, we need to build up the leadership. We need to see more elected officials who have that compassion, understanding of what it means to have a healthy life and a healthy lifestyle. So with that, I want to say thank you so much, Eric. Thank you, everyone that's around me, making that sacrifice and being able to show the young people and our elders what it takes to make a difference for the betterment of our society. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much. And I'd like to ask Luisa Franco and also Dolores Arredondo from the board to say some words. These are the women who are making the difference. Please give them a round of applause as they come forward.
Thank you, Councilmember Garcetti and Councilmember Reyes, and buenos dias, good morning, and members of the Los Angeles City Council for recognizing the significant contribution Latinas have made and continue to make in the city of Los Angeles. My name is Dolores Arredondo, and I am the daughter of Maria Arredondo. And as Hope's board chair, I am proud of the fact that 21 years ago, Hope ensured that during Women's History Month, one day was devoted to honor Latinas through Latina History Day. Latinas are the small business owners that will fuel Los Angeles's economic comeback. We are community leaders who advocate for those who do not have a voice, and we are the future of the city of Los Angeles. Thank you again for acknowledging Latina History Day. And now I welcome one of our Hope's strongest supporters, a personal friend and advisory board member, Luisa Costa Franco, to say a few words. Thank you.
Thank you. Muy buenos días a todos. Good morning to everyone. It's absolutely a privilege to be here. I almost feel like I'm back home, having been a former City Hall staffer. It's great to be here. Not only is it Latina History Day, but council members, remember, March is also Women's History Month, so make sure you recognize all those wonderful women on your staff. This is a great opportunity to recognize Latinas at a local level, at a state level. Remember what they've done in the past and what they're also going to do in the future. And what this conference really does, and the actual conference, the day is March 9th, and you are all absolutely invited to join us, is about 1,000 women will gather, and there'll be workshops to help them with professional development, to help them with their careers, to help them advance, and we're really proud of this conference. It's been going on for quite a while, and we've seen a lot of successful women come out of there. One of the things that Hope has done is the Hope Leadership Institute. It's a phenomenal institute. Some of us here are all alumni of that, and what we try to do, and to your point earlier, Councilmember Garcetti, is really promote women to run for office. But another thing that the Institute has done is promoted women to go into corporate America. And I have to say that I would not be where I'm at in my career if it wasn't for the women of Hope, and in particularly Karime Bradvica, because as I stand here before you today, I'm the first Latina officer at Farmers Insurance Group, one of the largest organizations nationally. And that's all because of the amazing network that I have behind me here. So, again, thank you so much, Councilmember Garcetti, Councilmember Reyes. It is now my privilege and honor to introduce Helen Torres, our CEO of Hope, one of my comadres, and also one of the HLI alumni. Helen?
Just real quickly, I want to thank the council members that have already been supportive and of the conference, have been at our dinners in the past. And I welcome all of you and invite you once again to next week, March 9th, where we have a great celebration at the Biltmore of fantastic Latina leaders. If you can't attend yourself, ensure that Latinas from your district are coming. I know our Councilman Garcetti has already sent some Latinas. This is a fantastic opportunity for us to ensure that the future of Los Angeles is in secure hands, which we know it is. And we do challenge all of you to help us ensure that there is a Latina in City Hall as a City Council member real soon. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Helen. And we not only should accept the challenge for A, we should have many. In a city, I think, where Latinas are close to 25% of the population, there's plenty of room on these desks, and a lot of us leaving here soon. So with that, we wanted to congratulate you, invite everybody to the conference, and on behalf of myself and Mr. Reyes, we'd like to proclaim Latina History Day here in Los Angeles, March 2nd, 2012. Felicidades. Gracias. We'll take more in the back, so don't worry.
Thank you, Mr. Garcetti, and congratulations. I'm going to request that Mr. Zine move forward and with the next set of presentations. Oh, gosh. Good, ladies, please stop. Joe Buscaino is on. Please stop.
Hold on. Sorry. I wanted to really thank Hope. A few years ago, I had an opportunity to have lunch with Josefa Salinas as a senior lead officer down at LAPD Harbor Division, and I had a group of teenagers I was mentoring, and through the cadet program, we were able to, find funding to bring young ladies to the Hope Conference. And I want to thank you on behalf of the young ladies that you've touched in the Harbor area, my district, and thanks for your continued support. They came back. They had an opportunity to meet Eva Longoria when she was the honored guest. And I'm proud that Latinas are well represented in my office through Teresa Duran, Tracy Chavira, Jenny Chavez, Gabriela Medina, who's doing some fine work for us in Wilmington, and just surrounding myself with some Latinas who share my love and passion for this great city. So thank you for all that you've done, and thank you for all the things that you continue to do for this great city. Thank you.
And again, I apologize, Joey B. Congratulations, ladies. Mr. Zine, you're up. You're at the plate, Dennis.
Now the question is, do we go 50 years or do we go 100 years? Let's start with 100 years, and then we'll go to 50 years. We have two very special presentations this morning. 100 years. Why don't their friends come up and join you? Don't be shy. Jewish Home for the Aging, the Los Angeles Jewish Home, founded in 1912 in Boyle Heights, in Jose Huizar's district. Nonprofit organization that has been a place of safety and security, activity, wellness, and longevity for seniors ever since. Celebrating centennial year anniversary throughout 2012 with a series of meaningful activities and events, and we've kicked that off at the home. Has grown to become the largest single source provider of health care services for seniors in the entire state of California, offering 7 distinctive levels of care, and including independent living, and here's your new member, Bill Rosendahl.
That's right.
Signing up. Residential care, assisted living care, skilled nursing. They have the Alzheimer's wing, and the activity there continues to help our senior population here in this Los Angeles region. Los Angeles Jewish Home accepts all seniors in need of any type of care, regardless of race, religion, national origin, or ability to pay. Continues to be an innovator in developing cutting-edge programs to meet physical, mental, and social needs of our senior population. Become an integral part of the fabric of Greater Los Angeles community through its many educational and outreach programs. The home is embarking on ambitious plans to expand services so many seniors as possible, so as many as possible, can be provided with safety, security, and high quality of life that they deserve. On the occasion of this centennial year celebration, we, the City of Los Angeles, congratulate the many volunteers and staff of the Los Angeles Jewish Home for their tireless efforts to assure the well-being of our city's senior population. And I was involved in the home as a member of the community supporting it when I was with the Los Angeles Police Department, and I've remained committed to that. And I was the president for 2 years, the Executives, which is a fundraising group of the home, and was very honored to receive the Circle of Life Award. The home is in my district at Reseda Boulevard and Victory and Tampa and Sherman Way. They're now embarking onto a new facility on the west side, and the need is great. As the population grows more and more, people need a place of safety and security, and the home provides it. There's also Fountain View, which interestingly a former city council member by the name of Joy Pikus and her husband Jerry residents at Fountain View, which is all affiliated with the home. The staff there is phenomenal. The group there takes and protects our senior population, and it's amazing that of all the facilities in the state of California, the home has 100%. When it is inspected by the state, they have a phenomenal record and a phenomenal reputation. And we have the lady who's in charge of the home, Molly Forrester, who's the lady who, every time I see her, she gets younger and younger as we get older and older. We do have a presentation. We're going to hear from Mr. Rosenthal. I guess he wants to sign up for the home now.
That's right.
But
and you'll join me, Dennis.
Well, no, I'm a far way behind you.
So
Bill.
both of you will be signing up for the home, Mr. Zion.
Thank you. But we have the resolution to Los Angeles Jewish Home signed by the city family, the mayor, the controller, the city attorney, all colleagues of the city council. They have a number of activities planned celebrating this 100 years serving the people of Los Angeles. So it's with great pride that Bill, you, and then Molly, and you're coordinating the 100th anniversary celebrations. Yeah. So first we'll hear from Bill, and then we'll hear...
No, Mr. Zion, after Mr. Rosendahl, we'll have Mr. Englander.
He's a few years off from becoming a resident, but he's in line.
Going to make an early application.
The reason I jumped from my seat over here is that the Jewish Home for the Aged is an organization I've known, not for the 100 years, but for as long as I've been around. Many of you know with my television show over the years, we talk about a lot of issues, and senior health care was one of the more significant ones. And the Jewish Home for the Aged is a model for the nation. There are 3,000 people right now enjoying the services that come along with it. I can say that we are actively engaged in opening up one on the west side. I want to thank Stanley Black, who has been one of the big backdrops of support for many, many years in putting it together. It is a model of how one, as they age, with dignity and support, can live a quality life in their old age. It's very important. I know personally right now, I have Swami X, who's 86, and he's right now in the hospital bed in the commode at home. He's getting home care. The Jewish Home is engaged in background support on that. But I can tell you, as we age as a society, we need to look at what they've done the last 100 years and replicate it throughout this great city and throughout the nation. So it was an honor for me when I heard that they were being honored for 100 years, and knowing that we're going to get one on the west side in my district. We're in early planning stages on it, and I expect that to happen within the next year for us to do it. And they're just the best organization I know that deals with dignity as we age. Yes, I might end up there. I'm 66 now, but maybe I'll be able to use their services at home, which is where I would like to be through my whole process. But I think I'm going to live to 96. You're the first to hear that, folks. So God bless the Jewish Home for the Aged and its 100th anniversary.
Mr. Englander, Mitch Englander.
Yeah, I just have to stand and say thank you for everything that the home has done. I, too, am on the board of the executives with Mr. Zion. And I grew up in the San Fernando Valley, and I was raised by a single mom. And she used to tell me all the time when I was a little kid, you have to do something with your life for one reason and one reason only. Because there's a long waiting list at the Jewish Home for the Aging, which is where she wanted to live and retire. And that I had to become somebody influential in Los Angeles so she can try to bypass the list. I heard that growing up, and she passed away 22 years ago. And I felt always having that connection, or that threat from my mother, if you will, that Jewish guilt, that I had to do something to help the home as well. When I heard all about it when I was a little kid, I didn't know much about it. And as I grew up in the Valley and had the opportunity to volunteer there when I was a kid, take many tours there, get involved in the Young Executives, which was a program many years ago. I know it's back and thriving again. I did. And then when I had the opportunity to get involved in the board, I did that as well. The programs that the home has done and continues to do for so many people in the city of Los Angeles is so unique and so rare and so special. So I want to say thank you. God bless you. Keep up the great work. Mazel tov. Thank you.
Back to you, Mr. Zine.
And on top of Mazel Tov is Shalom.
Thank you to Dennis Zine and for the lovely comments that we have received. The home is enjoying its 100th anniversary this year. The home began in Boyle Heights 100 years ago when we, members of our community, decided to create a home for 5 elderly men who wanted a kosher home for Passover. The home created one house, and then that grew to many more. And in the 70s, we moved to the Valley, and our property in Boyle Heights was sold to Kiro, the Japanese home for the aged, and the Jewish home loaned them their first year of operating costs and gave them very favorable terms. So now about 450 members for the Kiro home live in our old location. The Jewish home today does indeed serve 3,000 people a year, 1,000 in residence and 2,000 through our community-based programs. If you have not seen the home recently, I encourage you to come and visit. We have very ambitious plans, not only for the West Side, but this next fall we will be opening a PACE program that we will call the Brandman Centers for Senior Care to help people live in their own homes and outside of nursing homes. It is true we have a long waiting list, but the home also has a compassionate heart. So the home does give help where we can see social isolation, victims of traumatic violence, which includes Holocaust survivors, rape victims, and victims of elder abuse. So today I'm proud to be the CEO and looking forward to many more years where we can honor our elderly. Many of us think the commandment, honor thy father and thy mother, means to stand and be respectful. It actually in Hebrew means to shelter, to clothe, to feed, and to take out and bring back in. The home is proud to have done this for 100 years. It takes a dedicated volunteer to lead our centennial efforts, and I'm very pleased to announce and welcome Annette Shapiro, who is a relative of one of the founding families of the Jewish home, and she does chair our centennial committee. Thank you.
Thank you, Molly. You know, I was born in Los Angeles, and my family lived in Boyle Heights, and my family were very active in the Jewish home. And to see what has happened with the Jewish home since then, that I am very proud to be part of the activities of the home and to chair the centennial, because we want to reach people in the community to understand what the Jewish home does, all the things that you've heard here today, and how caring the Jewish home is for the aging community, which I am now part of. I mean, so, okay. So anyway, and I also grew up, by the way, in the San Fernando Valley. When I was 8 years old, I moved to the Valley and didn't move out until I was married. So I know the Valley very, very well. And so if you ever are in that area, I urge you to please call Molly and come and see our facility, because we're making senior citizens happy, and they're living in an environment that they will live longer because they're in an environment that people care about them, they have activities and things to keep their minds busy, and that's what it's all about. So I thank all of you for this award, because I think it's very, very important that the Jewish home is recognized by the City of Los Angeles. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. It just reminds me that the largest Mother's Day celebration every year is at the Jewish home, and they hold a number of records, but the number one record is they take care of our senior population. So congratulations, and well-deserved 100 years, Los Angeles Jewish Home. Thank you. And we're going to do photos in the back, and if you'll just have a seat up here in front, and then we're going to do my next presentation, and then we will be able to go back and do the formal photography. And the next one is 50 years. So we started with 100 years, and now we go with 50 years. And the 50-year celebration.
Hey, Mr. Zine?
Yes.
It's my understanding that your amendment for item 10 is ready. Can we do that right now?
Go ahead. Let's do it.
Oh, you need to sign it.
Well, if you bring it.
Well, anyway, go and do the.
Come on up here. Just a little technical signature on a technical issue.
Come on, Avak, so he can sign it. We can.
All right.
Okay, go on with your presentation.
Thank you. And this
Mr.
is for
Zine.
50 years. Northrop Grumman. Talk about a senior population that we have on one side, the Jewish home, but people who are gainfully employed in helping America. The City of Los Angeles joins Northrop Grumman Navigation System Division celebrating its 50th anniversary. Navigation System Division was established more than 50 years ago, with the first building on the Woodland Hills campus opening in 1961. They're currently on Canoga at the Ventura Freeway, and a wonderful, wonderful representative of our great Woodland Hills area. For more than 5 decades, Northrop Grumman's Navigation System Division has been a leader in designing and manufacturing navigation, positioning, and situational awareness systems. The Navigation System Division Woodland Hills site has led the development of many technological advances, including navigational systems for operational aircraft, NASA's Messenger spacecraft in 2011, the first spacecraft to orbit Mercury, a Mars rover spacecraft, critical entry, descent, and landing phase, and the gyroscope that helped stabilize equipment for the rescue of the Chilean miners trapped underground in 2010. Northrop Grumman has been recognized by numerous industry and civic organizations for its outstanding corporate citizenship efforts in the great city of Los Angeles. Waste Reduction Award Program winner for 6 consecutive years, awarded by the California Department of Resources, Recycling, and Recovery. The San Fernando Valley Business Journal recognizes Northrop Grumman's Navigation Systems Division with the 2011 Manufacturing Leadership Award for Social Responsibility. Northrop Grumman continues to provide both economic, philanthropic benefits to the City of Los Angeles by supporting numerous charities and employee volunteerism in the areas of education, homelessness, environmental conservation, elder care, women and veterans, and they continue helping people. Local education supports worthwhile to help high school youth mentoring programs at Canoga Park High, Northrop Grumman's Engineering Scholarship Program, Shirley Avenue Elementary Science Fair, charitable contributions they're involved with, Junior Achievement, San Fernando Valley Food Bank, Soaring Words, Guadalupe Community Center, San Fernando Valley Girl Scouts, and don't forget to buy your Girl Scout cookies are on sale. Community membership, Valley Industrial Commerce Association, VICA, San Fernando Valley Aviation Aerospace Collaborative. Northrop Grumman's Corporation is a leading global security company whose employees provide innovative systems, products, and solutions in aerospace, electronics, information systems, shipbuilding, technical services to government and commercial customers worldwide. City of Los Angeles hereby recognizes Northrop Grumman's Navigation System Division on its 50 years for its many contributions to space exploration, national defense, community services, thereby making Los Angeles a better place for all. And if I can please have the resolution to Northrop Grumman Navigation System Division, signed by the City family, acknowledging 50 years of great work, 50 years of protecting, 50 years of helping Northrop Grumman. Let's hear it for Northrop Grumman. We have representatives from Northrop Grumman. I keep on saying Northrop. Do you have a? Do you say it like NG or something?
NG.
Or is it, yeah, NG.
Call it NG.
Is that what they call it? Is
NGC.
It NGC. Okay. See, I knew it's something short. Northrop Grumman. NGC. So we have the folks that are here from Northrop Grumman, NGC, to make some comments and to receive on behalf of the people of Los Angeles. And you are the lady in charge.
I am.
So you get the first mic.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
Hi, I'm Elizabeth Iverson. I'm the Vice President and General Manager of the Navigation Systems Division, and we are so honored to be given this wonderful commendation. It's just wonderful to be a member of the community in the Valley, to be able to give back as well as to take and hire. I'm an LA City school kid. I grew up in the city. And believe in it. One of the things that we work very hard on, as well as from a giving back perspective, is all around the STEM, the science, technology, engineering, and math programs. We heard about reading this morning. The other piece of it is all about math. And one of the things we're pushing very hard is that everyone turn around and find a little girl that's less than 5th grade and tell them they're smart. Because if you tell a little girl she's smart before 5th grade, we have every opportunity to get them into math and science. And that's what we're really striving for. So I thank you for this on behalf of Northrop Grumman, and thank you.
You're very welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President. That concludes.
Oh, Mr. Labange.
I just want to
Mr. Labange.
thank Northrop Grumman, and I watch Morning Joe, which is on very early in the morning. I don't know if you ever see it. Northrop Grumman has an ad that really carries all their work, whether it's the armed forces, whether it's aviation, whether it's movement of people. It's a tremendous ad, which shows your commitment. And when you spoke about jobs, which is so important, and this region, since Cold War was over, the displacement of people in aerospace has been gigantic, but I'm so glad that you're still here in Southern California and doing what you can do as we expand in every way possible.
Be here. One of the things we say about navigation systems is not only do we get you there, but we bring you home.
You got it. Bring them home.
And that's what's really important in Los Angeles. It's also keeping it here and keeping it home.
And email your marketing department at your headquarters and tell us what councilman gets up way too early and watches Morning Joe, but think that's a tremendous ad with the music is very good. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
All right, let's give him a round of applause. Oh, wait a minute. Mr. Garcetti is now on the queue. Mr. Garcetti?
I was just going to say very, very briefly, and I know we've got some great veterans that are here, and on behalf of folks who have worn the uniform of armed forces, I know it's Northrop and Grumman who have, for many, many years, kept us safe, brought us home, done so many things, but thank you for making the connection here to our local youth especially, because for those of us who want to see this industry stay here and be strong, anything that we can do to make that happen, not just in the San Fernando Valley, but throughout the region, even outside the city of LA. We're very proud to have you here. And it was a wonderful visit I took to your counterparts in the South Bay to see the new satellite that you're building, to be able to stare so far back. It's a satellite that will have a telescope that will look at the birth of the universe. It is so inspiring for a young person to know that or to be able to see that changes their life forever. So thank you, Northrop Grumman. We love you. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Garcetti. With that said, before our next presentation by Mr. Alarcon, let's go to item 10. I do believe we have the amendment. Mr. Clerk, we are prepared to vote on that at this time?
Yes, sir, that is correct. A substitute motion, motion Zine Wesson, has been submitted and distributed for council's consideration.
Okay, on that item, let us open the roll. Close the roll. Tabulate the vote.
13 ayes.
Thank you. With that, Mr. Alarcon.
Council members, all our presentations are special, but every once in a while you have one that stands out amongst all the presentations as extremely special because it touches so many of us in so many different ways, and it promotes somebody who has become a national figure. I think you all can recognize the man standing behind me, J.R. Martinez. We know him for his work on Dancing with the Stars, but we also know him as a hero for America and most importantly, in the aftermath of becoming a burn survivor. We now know him as an inspirational leader in so many different ways. So we are truly blessed to have J.R. Martinez join us in this chamber for our recognition of the tremendous work that he is doing. Having said that, let me say that we are also here not just to provide a certificate of recognition. I want to thank Ken Phillips from our Workforce Investment Board, and he connected us with JR in a different context. JR was in my office filming 5 PSAs to ask businesses to employ our veterans here in Los Angeles. His agent said that he certainly did a lot of dancing on Dancing with the Stars, but his feet have not stopped moving ever since. He is working in so many different ways to improve our community and to inspire people. Of course, we recognize the tremendous challenges that our nation faces throughout the world. But if we have people like JR, let me tell you, we can do anything. So I want to thank all of you for allowing for this presentation. I have to tell you one thing, though. If there's ever a time that people in Los Angeles were not rooting for a Los Angeles Laker, it was during Dancing with the Stars when J.R. Martinez was going up against Meta World Peace, formerly known as Ron Artest. But I think we were all rooting for J.R. Because he captures the heart of the entire nation. And so we are so blessed to have him, as I said. His dances were not only motivated by childhood memories of dancing with his mother, but they were motivated for the men and women who are burn survivors and need a second chance. He knows about second chances. As a prolific high school football star, his pro football career was cut short due to an injury, but that didn't stop his spirit of achievement. In his willingness to serve others and his love and duty for his country, J.R. enlisted in the United States Army in 2002. He was deployed to Iraq in 2003, and only a few months after his deployment, a road bomb exploded when the left front tire of his Humvee rolled over it. The devastating incident would forever change J.R.'s life. He was burned in 40% of his body, and after several surgeries, found Interstrate to motivate other burn survivors in similar situations. So he's traveled throughout the nation, inspiring resilience to other burn survivors and letting them know that life is all about the second chances. He is an inspiration to people throughout the country, and I'm obviously very proud to present this recognition today. Today, as I mentioned, he shot 5 PSAs for the city's Workforce Investment Board. I also want to recognize, along with Ken Phillips, who serves on our Workforce Investment Board, Amity Anderson, who serves on the Workforce Investment Board. She works for Time Warner, and Time Warner right here in Los Angeles is the #1 private company in California to hire veterans. So Amity, thank you so much. So without further ado, I want to congratulate JR for becoming an American hero and becoming really expressing the heart of America every day of his life. But most importantly, I want to congratulate JR because next month he will have his first baby daughter.
All right.
So congratulations.
Mr. Alarcon.
With that,
Richard, before you present, we've got 2 speakers that would like to speak. And we will start with Mr. Eric Garcetti, followed by Bill Rosendahl, a veteran himself.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Thank you, JR, for the inspiration that you are, what you've embodied in service to the country, and what you have done since then, and especially the work that you're doing to help our veterans who are coming home. We see so many young veterans from these campaigns coming home on the streets of Los Angeles. We see both those that were on the active component and also reservists and guardsmen and guardswomen who can't find jobs because as long as they continue to serve, a lot of folks don't want to hire them and discriminate against them because their employers don't know if they'll be deployed in service of this country. We're very proud in this city to be honored by ESGR, which is one of the programs that highlights employers who do help our servicemen and women, our airmen, Marines, all of our sailors, and everybody who is deployed and who does serve. And you are an inspiration to us. As a side note, All My Children was a show I helped bring to Los Angeles, and I was heartbroken that it got canceled. We could have had a long, long run with you there, but congratulations on breaking through so many barriers as a dancer, as an actor, as a human being, as somebody who has served this country. Continue to help us because you can be that voice for courage for all of our folks that are coming home right now, that their life is just beginning and the best days are ahead of them. And you remind us every single day that in your life that you have your best days still ahead. Congratulations on the upcoming birth of your daughter, and thanks for all you do. Appreciate it.
Mr. Rosendahl of the great 11th District in the United States Army.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate that very much. JR, you're an inspiration to all of us, especially those of us who have served our country and have been to wars and into combat. I had the honor to be from the Vietnam era, and I saw a lot of folks coming back from the war, psychiatric social worker. I saw 8 or 9 Vietnam vets a day. And I was stationed at Fort Carson, Colorado, which became the change agent for the whole Army with the folks coming back and the issues that one comes back with from war. But what you've done with 40% of your body that was in fire and flame, you came back and became an inspiration to all of us veterans. All of us veterans salute you. And today, when we're in Iraq, and we're in Afghanistan, and it's really a 1% of the people being impacted by that. They go back, they come back, they come back. It is absolutely difficult and challenging. I'm talking to some vets right now who are in very serious shape mentally and physically from those wars. Our country needs to respect the veterans, especially those who've been in harm's way, give them a gold card, open up every door for them, and give them every opportunity. And by you dancing and by you showing joy and love and positivism, you inspired everyone, not just the veterans, who many are depressed, some are on the street, some are having a hard time connecting, but all of us could see that we can overcome issues that hurt us, issues that impact us, and we can become superstars like you have become. Now you're doing commercials talking about hire a vet. Yes, every vet should be able to go into the front of the line and get that job, get that training, get that support system. So you're a role model for all of us, and I just salute you, sir, for your service to our nation. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, members. And Mr. Alarcon, thank you, and have an opportunity to speak, JR.
Wow. Well, I'm inspired by that speech. Now, not by his dancing, but I'm inspired by his speech. I'll do the dancing. I'll let him give the speech. And I've done a lot of cool things in my life, and I have to say, walking into this room, I was like, wow. I was taken in by everything, and it's like a well-oiled machine. Move to the front, get up to the podium and make it happen this time frame, and and it was like, all right, I like this. I could be a part of something like this. It really is an honor for me to be here today, and thanks to every single person in this room, the City Council, Councilmember Alarcon, and for me, in 2003, my life completely changed, and I think all of our lives changed at some point or another, whether it's overseas in Iraq and Afghanistan, in the military, or just in life in general. All of us go through that big boom in our life at some point. My big boom happened to be overseas in Iraq, and thankfully enough, I was given an opportunity, a second chance, to come back and in some way kind of figure it out, in some way say, you know what, I can do something with this. And I think the biggest thing that when it comes to service members is that they come home and they feel that because potentially physically or mentally they're damaged and they're in different shape that they can't serve anymore. And we as service members, whether it's past wars, Whether it's current wars, doesn't matter, or everything in between, the one thing that we love as service members is to continue to serve and do for others. And when we feel that that opportunity is being taken away from us, we have nowhere else to go, and we feel that what else can we do? Thankfully enough, I've been blessed with opportunities and people in my life that have allowed me to open my eyes and allowed me to see that, you know what, there's a different way of serving. Just because I'm not wearing a camouflage uniform, or just because I don't have an M16 in my hand, does not mean that I cannot continue to serve. My new uniform becomes the scars on my body. My new weapon becomes the words that come out of my mouth. And for me, it's important to be able to pass that message on to other service members. When you talk about the unemployment ratio amongst veterans, 1% of our nation's population serves in our military. And when you talk about the percentage of unemployment amongst our veterans in LA or other parts of the country, it hurts. It hurts a lot. But it's because of these individuals don't understand and know what they can do after. So it's important for me, all of us here collectively, no matter what it is that you do, to go out there and continue to use our platforms to inspire them and allow them to understand that there are resources, that they are not alone, and that they can overcome the obstacles that they face day in and day out. And if everything fails for me tomorrow, then the great thing about being here today in the midst of meeting all of you and having the opportunity to address you is knowing that Time Warner is hiring veterans. So I'll be able to go there. So if I come knocking, if Entertainment World says it's done, you know, I can install something. I can do something, maybe a port to a port. That's probably all I can do. But thank you guys, seriously, in all honesty, thank you guys very much. I was born in L.A., which is Louisiana, but I'm proud to say that I know. For a second, they're like, oh, wow, this is even more special. Then all of a sudden, I kind of, take a turn. But I'm proud to say that I live in Los Angeles, California. I'm proud to say that, this will be my home, for a long time. And I'm honored that you guys have recognized me and the work that I've been able to do. And for me, I just think that I'm just doing what all of us should do, is try to help another human being and better them, and not try to, entrap them in certain things, but break them out of that box, break them out of that comfort zone, and allow them to understand that, there is endless possibilities to life. So with that said, I don't want to take up too much time. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for this amazing honor. It really is an amazing morning for me to be here, and I'm honored, and just have a great day and have a great weekend. Thank you, guys.
Thank you right there. Mr. Zine wanted to add a little. Mr. Zine, you have your name up here? You want to add a little right there?
Yeah, I'd like to.
Mr. Zine.
Good morning. I serve with the Rough Riders in the recruitment, and I know you came to one of our meetings at the facility, but you've inspired so many people. I mean, dancing and military, Rose Parade. Are you a daddy yet? Because I know you're close.
In May.
Okay, I know.
So I'm trying to prepare now, but
right.
I realize she's not even here yet. She's already taken over the whole house.
Oh yeah, that happens.
So.
That happens. But the thing that I find interesting is that we want to provide employment after they return. But the difficult part that we find in the recruitment efforts is that out of 10 applicants to today's military, 7 don't have the minimum qualification. That is really a sad commentary on where we're going as far as our society, where 7 out of 10 who apply to today's military are disqualified because of a variety of factors. So you're an inspiration to so many people, and I know that in my role with that recruitment battalion, trying to keep the forces whole and to give them the opportunities and then to come back and get a job, and we've made a lot of programs, put those together. You are an exception with what you went through, and the success you've made inspires so many people, and people need to look at that as there are opportunities. It doesn't matter what happens. You have a heart, you have a soul, you have a spirit that excites so many people. And I'm really not a fan of Dancing with the Stars, but when I saw you there, I was a fan. I was a fan, and to see you with the success that was brought about by that and how that inspiration goes to so many people, that's the key. So continue on this. I know that your record is so packed with schedule. I mean, you are in demand everywhere because of what you've accomplished and what God has given you and what you've done with that and how you've made it work. So much beneficial. And then soon you're going to be a daddy. And then your whole life's going to change again. But it's always a challenge, always a thrill. And it's an honor to see you here in City Council with the people of Los Angeles, and Richard, my good friend, to recognize, and the military folks, the veterans, to recognize and to honor And as we continue to protect this country and what you did to sacrifice for this country and now the benefits that you're receiving, we want to keep inspiring. So God bless you. I'm a daddy twice, and Richard's a daddy a couple times. He's got a little girl, so he's still dealing with that little girl stuff. So really the best to you. I'm just so honored to see you in our council chambers before the people of Los Angeles. God bless you with all your future endeavors.
Thank you. Mr. Alarcon.
So, JR, so you're not from Los Angeles?
I am now, yeah.
Just kidding. I love Louisiana. But this is presented to you on behalf of the entire City Council. All the council members have signed it, Mayor Villaraigosa as well. We are truly blessed to have you in Los Angeles. But more importantly, we are so blessed to have you working your tremendous inspiration throughout the country. I know you're going to inspire people. I want to ask you for a special favor. Now, upstairs, I saw somebody put a camera in front of you, and they asked you to do a shout out to Boyle Heights.
Yes.
Now, with all the bullying that we're seeing in schools and some of the horrible things that we saw at a high school recently, I was hoping that you could do a quick PSA to young people throughout Los Angeles who might find themselves depressed. And so, if you could look right into that camera right there and give a quick little shout out to...
You want a hand mic, Richard?
He can do it.
Nah, I can make it work. And this is just for kids in general.
You did a very professional presentation, but the one you did upstairs, I think the kids can relate to.
Okay. The biggest thing that I'd like to say to all the kids, students, even adults that may be watching this, is that all of us are unique and all of us are different. All of us have a different walk of life. All of us have a different path. All of us have different experiences. My experience is completely different than the millions of people that live in this world, and your experience is different than the millions of people that live in this world. But our experiences make us who we are. And sometimes it's hard to necessarily fit into what everyone else is doing or potentially what's going on in the world. But the biggest thing that I faced that after being injured in Iraq in 2003, being 19 years old and looking in the mirror and seeing my face and my body for the first time and thinking to myself, how will I be able to walk out into public? Will I ever be able to one day have a girlfriend, have a family? Will I be able to just be able to be a normal 19, 20, 21-year-old kid, grow old, and just do the things that everyone else has the opportunity to do? And it was difficult, and there were a lot of days where I was down. There were a lot of days where I was depressed. There were a lot of days where I just cried to myself. Sometimes I just sat there and didn't do anything. But you have to go through those moments. And in those moments, you have to believe that when you're at the bottom, you have to understand and know that as there is failure, there is success. As there is sadness, there is joy. And I'll end with this. Every day, you look at a clock. All of us look at a clock, whether it's on your watch, on your wrist, or it's on the wall. But if you notice, on the clock, let's just say for analogy perspective, the 12 is at the top, 6 is at the bottom. 12 meaning everything's great in your life. Nothing can go wrong. 6 is at the bottom, meaning things potentially are going wrong in your life. Well, there's a red hand that continuously moves around that clock that goes from 12 to 6. But in order for it to keep moving, to get around back to 12, to the top, to a good place in your life, there has to be batteries in it. Well, there's times in our life, because we're human, where we're down, we're upset, we're depressed, we feel out of place, we feel alone, we feel like no one understands us. We feel like, it's raining in our living room when the rest of the world has sunshine. Remember this. Continue to put batteries in that clock. Continue to put heart, will, desire. Continue to believe. Continue to trust. Continue to say, I am who I am. I am unique. And despite what the world says, whether it's one person or 1,500 people or 15 million people, I am who I am. And I will continue to take steps because everything that I've been through in my life has prepared me for this next moment. And I can overcome and I will overcome. And no matter what challenges come to me in my life, I will be able to persevere and create happiness and joy and success for not only myself, but those people that are around me that love me 100%. So continue to do all those things. And if you do, I guarantee you that if you are at 6 in your life, that hand will continue to move and you will slowly work your way up to 12 to a good place in your life. Remember that. It's not easy, But if it was easy, everybody would be doing it. But it's worth it. And I guarantee you that if you implement all these things, you will have success. And I don't mean success in regards to riches and fame. I mean success and happiness and joy and just having completeness and fulfillment in your life. So, and respect yourself, respect others as well. For those of you that you may look at somebody and look at them differently, just please respect them, because you don't know what their story is. You don't know what they've been through, no different than they don't know yours. But understand and know this. You have the power to either save a life or potentially take a life. And I hope that you make the choice today, in this moment, as you're listening to me or as you're listening to whatever message that's out there in your living room or in your office, that you make the choice to save a life. And if you do that, then not only will Los Angeles, California, but the state of California, but the United States of America will become a better place. God bless. Thank you, guys.
All right, JR. All right.
Mr. President, if I could just recognize the veterans behind us representing all the armed services of our nation. We want to thank them for what they have done for our country year after year. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Huizar, if you could move to the podium and start your presentation. Richard, you're going to be taking photos in the back? Mr. Berghoff, we don't have a proclamation for you, so you can leave. Mr. Huizar. Mr. Franco, we don't have anything for you today either, so you along with Arnie Berghoff can leave the chambers.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. And earlier today in several presentations, the neighborhood of Boyle Heights was mentioned, and here again today we are recognizing an organization that does some work in Boyle Heights. And today I'm honored to be recognizing the Salesian Boys and Girls Club and their community partners whose work has helped keep this great organization open. In 1961, Cardinal McIntyre purchased an old menorah center built in the early 30s that had been abandoned and vandalized. He turned it over to Father John Malloy of St. John Don Bosco and the Salesian Society to run an after-school outreach program for young people in the area. After extensive remodeling and the help of the Hollenbeck Police Department, the East Los Angeles Sheriff's Station personnel, Salesian High School students and staff, renovations were complete. In 1966, the Salesian Boys Club, as it was known then, officially opened its doors. The club served as a haven for inner-city youth with simple yet quality programming. In 1984, the club received the coveted Excellence Award for Youth Services from the United Way of Greater Los Angeles. Sundays were unofficial Girls' Days. They had swimming and bingo and some crafts projects for the young ladies. It wasn't until 1986 that the club officially became the Salesian Boys and Girls Club, 20 years after it was dedicated. In 2001, the Salesian Society decided to expand its services, which resulted in the purchase of the old Roto-Rooter warehouse in Boyle Heights, which later became the Don Bosco Center. It was later renamed the Salesian Family Youth Center, which was dedicated in 2001. Knowing that the Boys and Girls Club couldn't just be a place for play, they began to focus on education. Keeping this in mind, the center opened new academic centers of excellence at both sites in the Learning and Computer Technology Centers. Both sites have opened their doors to the community for meetings, family and senior activities, as well as conferences, and it continues to be a safe haven for our youth 45 years later. At this time, I would like to congratulate the Salesian Boys and Girls Club for its dedication to our local youth and its stellar work in our community. The club is a true staple in the Boyle Heights community, and it serves many, many young people, ensures them a place to be safe, to choose positive activities and a place where they could do additional and supplemental work along with their school work. So at this time, if I could please invite up to here Brother Thomas, who will receive a certificate from the City of Los Angeles recognizing the work of the Salesian Boys and Girls Club and also acknowledging the thousands and thousands of young boys and girls' lives who have they made a positive impact in their life. Brother Thomas? Thank you. How are you? Good to see you. Thank you so much. I want to say a few words. Sure.
Thank you.
Want me to hold it for you?
Thank you, Councilman Huizar. And I would like to also thank Ryan and David in the back. When kids ask me, do you believe in miracles? I say yes. And they ask, well, how do you know? And the only way I can prove to them that miracles exist are the people standing behind us. We had a large rainstorm and the roof literally started to collapse in on us. The miracle was we called for help and people stepped forward to help us. California Apartment Association, through the guidance of David Palmer from the Boys and Girls Club, they came to our rescue. When we think about miracles, it's the miracle of people stepping forward to help us do our ministry that we do in Boyle Heights. So please, as you applaud and congratulate people, remember it's the people here who step forward to help. The miracle is in people's willingness to help other people. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Mr. Huizar.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. And currently, the Salesian Boys and Girls Club serves 2,400 kids annually, ages 6 through 18, more than 300 kids a day. Families currently pay only $5 a year for their membership to the club. But for many families that need to count every penny, we know that $5 can be very difficult for them. So we want to thank those organizations who support our young people to attend the Boys and Girls Club. Last year, the Salesian Boys and Girls Club faced a myriad of repairs that put their club at risk of closing their doors due to safety concerns, as Brother Thomas just mentioned. The club needed to repair their gym ceiling that collapsed during a period of heavy rains, and the list of repairs needed some help. During this time, the California Apartment Association of Los Angeles partnered with the Boys and Girls Clubs Los Angeles County Alliance. The goal of the new partnership was to utilize the talents and skills of the members of CAA Los Angeles to help renovate the Boys and Girls Club sites throughout Los Angeles County. The first work project was at the Salesian Boys and Girls Club. The members of CAA Los Angeles renovated the club at no cost. The projects include repairing and replacing the indoor gym ceiling, painting the indoor pool area, repairing parking lot leaks, painting the building exterior, removing unsafe trees, and some landscaping work. 15 different companies participated in the effort. I would like to take this time to recognize each and every one of them for their support of the Boys and Girls Club. First, Alana Buick and Bears, Arkstone, Avalon Bay Communities, BRE Properties, Eberhard Construction and Roofing, ENS Ring Management Corporation, Infinity Painting, Madrid Plumbing, the Maintenance Concierge, Park West Landscape, PS2 Incorporated Painting and Waterproofing, Sherwin-Williams, Trees and Things, Western Waterproofing. And because of these private partnerships, the club has a new gym ceiling, gym floor, a newly painted club interior and exterior, new landscaping and repairs that have been made to prevent further water damage. And if that wasn't enough, the CAA Los Angeles is also donating $1,000 in scholarship funds to the Boys and Girls Club of Los Angeles in support of their Youth of the Year scholarship program. Thank you so much to the California Apartment Association for doing all they can to support our young people. And on behalf of the City of Los Angeles, I want to recognize them with a certificate of appreciation to the CAA. I want to call up Valerie Kunz, the regional chair of CAA LA. On behalf of the city and the Boys and Girls Club, thank you so much for your support of this and getting all the other troops aligned to make this possible. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Councilmember Huizar and everyone here. It was a wonderful partnership that began last year. California Apartment Association is very, very proud to work with the Boys and Girls Club in Los Angeles. Our first Our first project was the Salesian Boys and Girls Club, and we just had a call to action to 15 different industry partners that work with all of us in the California Apartment Association, and their donations were overwhelming. It was just a wonderful effort by a number of top quality members that work in our field. They literally poured out of their heart. It was over $250,000 worth of work, and we're so pleased and thrilled to be part of the Boys and Girls Club. We're going to continue that partnership, and we just appreciate everything they do. And because of that, it's my privilege to present to Brother Thomas a check from the California Apartment Association for $1,000 to their Youth of the Year program. We're just very pleased to be part of this, and we want to continue our partnership with you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And as you can see, this is a really great partnership, and one cannot stress enough the importance of supporting our local Boys and Girls Clubs and the work they do, both from a capital perspective and making sure that those buildings are well maintained to the programs that these clubs support. Very, very important in our communities. I, for one, as a young boy growing up in Boyle Heights, remember those times when I would spend some time at the local Boys and Girls Club doing something positive as opposed to running out into the streets, and who knows what I would have gotten involved with. So these organizations provide a great service, and it is because of organizations like the California Apartment Association that continue to support and make it possible for them to provide that service. Thank you again so much for this partnership. The city is here to support in any way we can as well. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. Congratulations, and thank you, Mr. Weezer. Mr. Clerk, at this time, I think the one remaining item that we have is item 11, which is a closed session item. If we could read the item, I guess, is the appropriate thing to do, and then ask our sergeants to begin to...
Mr. President, before doing so,
we have to go into a special meeting.
Correct. We'd like to, would you like to recess the regular meeting and go into the special?
Let's recess the regular meeting and go into the special meeting.
Very good. Alarcon, Buscaino, Cardenas, Englander, Garcetti, Weezer, Koretz, Krikorian, Labange, Parks, Perry, Reyes, Rosendahl, Zine, Wesson. 13 members present and quorum, Mr. President.
Okay, sergeants, if you could begin to clear the council chambers.
Mr. President, before doing so, let me first state that we have we've received no speakers cards for this matter.
All right. Okay. Only individuals that have business where it relates to this closed session item should be in these chambers. And representatives of the mayor's office will be present as well. But if we could clear the chambers.
Mr. President, seeing no cards, would you like to open and close the public hearing on this matter?
Exactly. So without objection, we will open and close the hearing on this item.
cooperation is often essential in solving hate crimes. We Tip Hotline, 909-987-5005.
Thank you.
Okay, we're now back in session. Mr. City Attorney, I believe there's an announcement that you could make on this, on what just transpired.
Yes, Mr. President. In closed session, the City Council gave direction to the City Attorney's Office on how to proceed next.
Okay, thank you very much. So let's exit this special meeting, return to our regular meeting. Mr. Clerk, what is next for us?
Mr. President, Council has motions for posting and referral.
Consider them posted and referred.
The desk is clear.
Announcements. Mr. Huizar.
Thank you, Mr. President. This Saturday at 12 o'clock, the Chinese American Museum will host their 11th annual Lantern Festival. It will take place at the Kiosko stage at the El Pueblo Historical Monument. At the main stage, it will have, obviously, red lanterns. We invite all to come. Thank you.
Mr. Koretz.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to announce the particulars of the 405 freeway closures that will impact traffic coming to and from the San Fernando Valley this weekend. Metro reports that all northbound lanes of the 405 freeway between Getty Center Drive and Ventura Boulevard will be closed at midnight tonight, Friday, March 2nd, as crews begin work on the Mulholland Bridge. They will start closing lanes as early as 10 p.m., and all lanes will be closed by midnight. Some ramps will be closed as early as 7 p.m. The northbound lanes are expected to be reopened at 5 a.m. Saturday, March 3rd. The southbound lanes of the 405 freeway between Getty Center Drive and the 101 freeway will be closed from Monday, March 5th, midnight, to Tuesday, March 6th, 5 a.m. The southbounds will close again on Tuesday, March 6th at midnight and open again at 5 a.m. The same southbound lanes will also be closed Monday, March 12th at midnight to Tuesday, March 13th at 5 a.m. They will also be closed Tuesday, March 13th at midnight to Wednesday, March 14th at 5 a.m. During the lane closures, Sepulveda Boulevard will remain open as a detour route. To see the detour maps and other information, visit metro.net/projects/I-405. And thank you to Mitch Englander for his work in obtaining this information.
Thank you, Mr. Koretz. And with that said, sergeants, I want to continue to keep an eye on Councilmember Dennis Zine. He's disrupting the council meeting, yelling Armageddon. Carmageddon. Okay, any other announcements, members? Mr. Englander? Okay, if all in the council chambers could please rise for adjourning motions. Please rise. Mr. Englander.
Thank you, Mr. President. Council members, please join me in adjourning in the memory of James Thomas Durkin, a longtime member of our city family. James Durkin was born December 17, 1956, in Scranton, Pennsylvania, son of the late Linus and Mary Durkin. He was a 1975 graduate of Dunmore High School and served in the Marine Corps from July 1975 to July 1979. In October of 2000, James joined the city working as a clerk typist for LAPD Rampart Division, Day Watch. Within a short time, he was assigned to the Property Disposition Coordinator with an outstanding attendance record. In April 2006, he received the Certificate of Achievement from FEMA, Emergency Management Institute for Completion of Courses, ICS for Single Resources and Initial Action Incidents. Later that year, he transferred to the Office of Finance as a senior clerk typist and promoted to Customer Service Specialist with recognition for outstanding attendance yet again from the Office of Finance for 2007, 0 sick hours used. He was a wonderful son, a brother, an uncle, a co-worker, a friend, and he'll be truly missed by the entire city family. James is survived by his sister Maureen and brothers Linus and Sean, as well as two nieces, Alex and Nicole, and a nephew, Joseph. If we can have all members, please. Thank you, Mr. President.
Fine. Mr. Koretz.
Thank you, Mr. President. As you all know, Davy Jones, the lead singer of the 1960s sensation, the group The Monkees, passed away on Wednesday from a massive heart attack. He was only 66 years old. He is gone, but his impact will survive, in part because his appeal was personal and immense, which is why in 2008 he was voted the top teen idol of all time by Yahoo Music. To countless fans, the Monkees represented the most innocent and charming aspects of the 1960s, thanks to a fun and fast-moving TV show and rock and pop songs that were full of catchy melodies, memorable hooks, and universal sentiments. The Monkees are considered by some historians of pop culture to be a group that was pieced together, out of crass commercial calculation. In the end, the members of the group rebelled, wanting to prove themselves as true musicians with truly individualistic creativity and musical talent. Years later, they're still beloved by the fans and are viewed kindly by critics who now recognize the real skills, integrity, and ambition of the Monkees and their legacy. Either way we look at it, they were responsible for a lengthy array of chart-topping songs, selling an estimated 65 million copies worldwide, while leaving a pleasing imprint on the days and lives of millions of listeners. Davy Jones was a special part of that package, singing the lead on many of their biggest hits, including Daydream Believer and I Want to Be Free. Born December 30th, 1945 in Manchester, England, Davy Jones was a child actor, but he was 14 when his mother died, and needing to find more solid employment, he became a racehorse jockey. However, his talent on the stage and in front of the camera were not forgotten, and when a new musical was being created based on the Dickens novel Oliver Twist, he was recommended to play the Artful Dodger. He starred in that role in London and later on Broadway, and was nominated for a Tony Award. And indeed, in that role, he would appear on the Ed Sullivan Show, only to have that amazing opportunity overshadowed that night by the Beatles making their first appearance on the Ed Sullivan Show, in one of the most legendary appearances of all time. The remarkable story of the Monkees started when the band was formed by Hollywood producers Bob Rafelson and Bert Schneider, who were eager to create an instant TV hit series inspired by the Beatles' youthful appeal, musicality, and image. Following auditions in 1965 that attracted hundreds of applicants, Jones was selected to be a Monkee, probably helped not just by his talent, but by his Beatle-looking long locks of hair and British accent. Along with Davy Jones, the other Monkees were Michael Nesmith, Peter Tork, and Mickey Dolenz. On the show, Jones was known as the cute one, perhaps the one with the gentlest character, and arguably the star with the most innate talent. Initially, many other fine songwriters and great musicians worked behind the scenes, not only writing the tunes, but even playing the instruments. This was an effort based on corporate calculation as to what would sell, and it was thought that these four stars were not the surest bet. But eventually they wanted to leave their own mark and fought to have more and more creative responsibility for the actual music put out in their name. And history has viewed their character and creativity quite kindly, because the show was a huge hit. It's been revived to the delight of new generations of fans over the years, and the ambitions of the four Monkees reached beyond the show's initial reach and have impressed critics, who realized their integrity and skills were significant. Davy Jones left the band in 1970, had a solo hit, Rainy Jane, would consider making records and appearing on stage and in many TV shows, such as Love American Style and Hey Arnold, would appear as himself on The Brady Bunch, SpongeBob SquarePants, and Sabrina the Teenage Witch. The Monkees achieved a star on the Walk of Fame in 1989. In the late 1990s, they reconvened for a film on them. Davy Jones reunited with Peter Tork and Mickey Dolenz to record a new album in 1986, and they toured several times, the last being in 2011 for their 45th year reunion. They will be remembered and enjoyed for many years to come, and Davy Jones is survived by his wife Jessica and 4 daughters from previous marriages, and legions of fans, myself among them.
obviously. All members on that, and I do remember Davy Jones. You gave us some very interesting information. I didn't know that he was a jockey. Interesting. Members, any other adjourning motions? This meeting is adjourned.